So Microsoft's Kinect is officially dead. Microsoft announcing that they will be discontinuing the manufacturing of the device. This means that all of the Kinects that are still available in retail stores will be the only new Xbox Kinects that you will be able to purchase from a store brand new. Now this is really no surprise to anybody because they removed the Kinect port when they released the Xbox One S, and you had to buy an additional adapter if you wanted to take advantage of using Xbox One's Kinect. But in some ways it's kind of a sad, disappointing day for Microsoft and for people who had bought into the Kinect idea. But to be honest, again, it's not a shock that this occurred. The Kinect came out and it was in the era of motion control gaming being the latest gimmick for gamers. And there was the PlayStation Move, which was coming out to compete with the Nintendo and the Nintendo Wii motion controllers, as well as the Nintendo Wii U with their second screen and being able to use the Wii controllers with the Nintendo Wii U. So then Microsoft came out with the Kinect, which out of all of the motion controls in that era that came out was definitely by far the most revolutionary and the most interesting to people who were interested in gaming as well as interested in electronics in general. When it came out, I personally thought it was a great idea. It was super cool that you didn't have to hold anything. You were able to scan your whole body into the game and move all your different body parts in whatever you were playing. But I also remember they had a preview video of the Kinect showing people like scanning skateboards, and they had that Milo guy who you would talk to when using the Kinect, and that all just looked so cool, but it never really came to full fruition. They sold about 24 million Xbox 360 Kinects, and that was basically just because of all the hype around it and how people were still into motion controls. So when that released, everyone jumped on board and they sold it a fair amount. And then they announced the Kinect with the Xbox One that they were bundling in with the initial release of the Xbox One, which increased the price of the Xbox One to about $500. And it also kind of pissed people off because a lot of people at that point were over the entire motion controls and playing games while moving around. So then they decided to create that as an option instead, and then eventually coming to the Xbox One S, where they pretty much removed it all. Now motion controls is really kicked off with the Nintendo Wii, and because of the Wii, Nintendo created an entire new genre and style of type of games, and they also created a hype and buzz around a new way to play video games, which wasn't just sitting back on the couch and just using a regular controller in your hand. Now, for the majority of hardcore gamers, or at least I can speak for myself, motion controls never really took off with me. I never really enjoyed playing any games on the Nintendo Wii using the motion or using the Kinect on the Xbox 360 and Xbox One, but it was definitely something that was attracting a lot of new gamers to the market and a lot of casual gamers who are picking up consoles to just play the games because of these motion controls. For example, Wii Sports, the original Wii Sports, when it came out on the Nintendo Wii, people would literally buy a Nintendo Wii and never buy a game with it because all they did was play the pack-in Wii Sports for hours and hours and hours on end, or use that game in parties, and whenever they played a video game, that's what they would do because it worked and it was kind of gimmicky, but it worked, and it just was, you were able to include everybody into playing the game. So in that sense, it was actually quite genius what Nintendo did. And then the Kinect and the PlayStation Move following suit and jumping in and capitalizing on the market. It's kind of like with the VR in today's generation and today's console generation, of every company seeing that VR is catching on, first starting with the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift on PC, and then the PSVR and the PS4, and then we're going to have Microsoft's HoloLens with the more powerful Xbox One X. And it'll be interesting to see if that in a few years, 5 to 10 years from now, if VR is still there, or if there'll be a brand new thing that will take over and then VR become obsolete. Because personally, I think that VR is a lot better than any of the motion controls from the previous generation and any of the motion controls including the current Xbox One Kinect and the PS Move. So I think that it's a lot more engrossing. It's what, when you were a kid, or when I was a kid, you were thinking what the future of gaming will be like, and we're kind of almost there in a sense when you put on that VR headset. So hopefully the same thing doesn't happen to VR. There will definitely be better versions of VR, clearer VR, and VR that engrosses you more than the current iterations out there. but hopefully it doesn't die like the motion controls died, and it's not just a gimmick for a few years. What else is interesting about the death of the Xbox Kinect is that we really see a kind of reversal and a step back to traditional gaming and just wanting to sit down, play games with your controller with the highest graphics, the best gameplay, the smoothest frame rates, and a real focus on the games and gamers who want that traditional experience with the Xbox One X, with the PS4 Pro, and obviously when the PS5 and the next Xbox comes out, it'll be even more powerful. And I'm predicting that that's what they will focus on. They will be focusing on just hardcore gaming, no gimmicks, nothing set around motion controls and more casual gamers, and VR, because there's definitely, with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, a market, big enough market to support that. So the Xbox Kinect is dead. I'm not really going to miss it. Didn't get much use out of it, but it is sad to see that an era and a great technology like that didn't really work out to the full potential that it could have. So that's what I think about this. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to know, do you have an Xbox Kinect? Do you like it? Do you still use it, or is it just collecting dust? Let me know in the comments, bro. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and I'll catch you in the next video.